Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Welcome to this is part 4 of our effort in sharing the understanding of the Environmental Quality Act 1974. This is part 4 already. We have got part 1, 2, 3, and this time we are talking about the Environmental Quality Act in terms of its function. So this is one function of the EQA, which is scoped into early, I should say, abatement or early prevention. How the law is designed to prevent pollution by considering environmental factors, by considering a lot of environmental practices in development of various types of activities in view of minimizing, if not eliminating, any associated environmental impact thereof. So the law has come up with an instrument, a legal instrument, which is called one of its subsidiary, which is called Environmental Quality Prescribed Activities Environmental Impact Assessment Order 1987, which is some time ago, and there has been several amendments to date. I'm not going to talk about amendments because my concern is to show to the public, to show to competent persons, especially some of them are working in some of these activities, okay, that this law, it is an order, it's not just a regulation, it is an order. In other words, if we contravene a legal order, the only action that would be taken by the enforcement agency, in this case the government, is a legal action in court. All right, there is no other options like compounds or notices and all this. Is straight court case. All right, so this is the danger in our environmental law for those who contravene such EIA order. What it means here is some of these activities that you're looking at right now here, from agriculture, activities, right up to what you have here, water supply, potable water supply projects, all this must upfront during the planning stage, before the first land clearing happen, before the so-called land or area is being tapped. Before that, this is called planning stage, administrative planning stage. Before any construction, even before the prime mover enters the area, all right, the project owner, or we call it commonly known as project proponent, has got to come up with an environmental impact assessment report and submit them to the DOE and I think more than 20 other agencies, depending on where they are located, in which state. For all these agencies to review this report, to look into the viability of this report in terms of socio-economic, and for the DOE would look into the viability as far as minimizing environmental impact, if not eliminating them, by looking into mitigating measures, what is predicted, what sort of environmental impact is predicted while the project is underway, And after the project has complete, what would be other subsequent or auxiliary or residual environmental impact that would occur upon the operation of these activities. So let's take a look. We have agriculture. Well, agriculture is green, right? So what is the fuss as far as environment is concerned? Well, apparently it's green. It produces food for us. Yes, it's all about trees. It's all about greeneries. But when we talk about hectares of agricultural land which is being planted with identical plants such as oil palm or palm oil, whichever first, right? The oil palm tree, the palm oil tree, okay, for example, or rubber, hectares and hectares of land. Thereon will be deforested in one span of time, whereby at that point, that biosphere, that area, that land will lose forever what is called biodiversity. If you have been to a forest, I believe some of you are jungle trekkers, sport mountaineers, and like to do jungle trekking. I think you have been to some thick jungle or primary jungle, virgin jungle. And I think the moment you step inside, you would see that every step you take inside this kind of land, you will be able to see, or you may have seen, different types of flora and fauna, different kinds of grass, leaves, ferns, trees, and even different kinds of inhabitants, like some animals. You could see the diversification, a diverse type of inhabitant. Even the trees are not the same, the grass are not the same. From one step to another, you will see a lot of different kind of plants, and this is called biodiversity. This is called an active ecosystem. These plants and animals on top of the land, underneath the soil, organisms, you name it. All right, all sorts of. You ask a zoologist, they would be able to explain better than me. You can ask botanists. I think those who are in botanical sciences knows this very well, and they are even able to give the different types of species in one square, perhaps kilometer. The types of diverse plants. So when we clear this off, which is what we are doing is clearing. We are distorting, or if you don't mind, I use this language, we are damaging permanently the ongoing ecological equilibrium. I believe you know about ecological cycles, you know about TCA cycle, sulfur cycle, oxygen cycle, water cycle, and all these cycles other than bicycles. All these cycles, natural cycles, are being disrupted, broken permanently. Yeah, it's a scary word, permanently. And it's not replaceable unless you don't do the project and let it be. Okay, then you have got that so-called environmental equilibrium being sustained for many more years. But we develop those land instead of having a thick jungle of so much diverse trees. We cut them off, in just months, and then we start to have the prime mover coming in, bulldozers coming in, backhoes, you name it, all the heavy machines come in and bulldoze everything just to build, just to what they call to build ourselves project. For example, even agriculture, they have got to level up some terrestrial lands for them to be conducive for planting new plants like palm oil. And then there you have it. The land will now receive one type of fertilizer which is only suitable for the fibrotic roots of palm tree, oil palm tree. That's it. And there's no other plants there except for perhaps ferns and perhaps some other forms of grasses which are well residual over there, which are auxiliary plantation, which is not tapped, which is not needed for the crops, but they would grow. But the problem now is when you have got only one kind of fertilizer in that particular land, I would only imagine one thing: the land is going to be suffocated with that type of ammonia driven fertilizer, and we are killing certain types of organisms underneath the plantation if we are not careful. But these are all a commercial decision. Agriculture is a commercial decision. We need agriculture to stay alive, but nonetheless, the impact to the environment is there. So we got to have a good management, agriculture, crops management, in order to have some level of diversity, especially for palm oil. We have got to ensure that well, it is good for the country, good for the people. We have got resources, oil. We have got materials that be converted into oleochemicals, and it makes all sorts of household needs, like soaps to detergents to cooking oil, etc. We need it. But the agriculture management has got to be smarter. But now they are good. I could see that some of these old palm trees are chopped down and they're not left to burn, or they're taken out elsewhere, but they have adopted what is called mulching process. Mulching, okay, which is a sustainable method of biodegradation, which is allowed there to decompose, and it becomes nutrients for the soil. Hopefully this one would revitalize the soil, but it's never the same. The ecological balance is never the same with a virgin forest. Is still different. All right, we got to admit that. Even ecologists understand that. I mean, if you are a business person, you are the owner of this plantation and crops, down deep in your heart, all right, you know it well, you can feel it. But we try our best to have agriculture in a sustainable manner, not too much impact to ecological cycles. And that is agriculture. For that reason, we have EIA. Why? Especially when it is more than certain hectares. The EIA orders specify conversion of land, maybe forest, to agricultural land of certain hectares and above requires EIA. So smaller patches of land might not require EIA. So this signifies the fact that huge agriculture development of a homogeneous crop type is detrimental to environment. For that reason, we need EIA. All right. You could go around, have a chat with EIA consultants who do agriculture. They would give you a good idea of what they see in the report and what they see after the agriculture is up. All right, there's a lot of loss of biodiversity, and we lost certain species of insects and animals. All right, that is something else, but that is what we want to prevent or minimize. Okay, the same thing in the uh, the construction of airport. Well, whenever there is airport, there's always associated businesses, okay, around the airport, which is a socio-economic positiveness. But when we construct airport, we have got to clear all the land. We convert all those green vegetation, those sort of maybe plantations or even shrubs or even jungles into unfortunately, we have got to surface them, surface the soil. Previously, the soil is able to respire. Okay, the soil do respire, and then the soil after we construct airport is no longer airable. Okay, so gas exchange between the air and the soil is now nullified, literally. But we need airport because we travel everywhere. We need to travel. It's a human activity. So the development is because of our need to travel by air, and we have it. Okay, fine. But we got to make it sustainable. I have some of the design in my mind to make airports, to make a road, not the way we are doing it now. We are depriving the environment of arable land. When that is gone, all the organics underneath the civil structure would eventually lose its mass. You could study. Some people did study soil sciences. You know, when it loses its mass, what happened? Sinkholes. Okay, those things are happening now. So I'm not sure if the EIA consultant, I believe they have looked into that as well. And I believe they have put in some nice words in their EIA report. And as you know, as our WhatsApp group has shown us, some of them were ex-EIA consultant. Yeah, you can read those sentences by these people, the grievances of EIA consultants, you know, today. And yeah, you're welcome to understand that. Also, some activities like drainage and irrigation, especially for drainage for, you know, sewers for new township, new residential areas, new you know, township especially. You have got drainage system. You have got, you know, you need drains to bring down, to flow out what is called surface runoff when it's, you know, into storm water. We call it storm water, and drain it out into our drainage system, to some monsoon drain, to the rivers. So when we have got township, the rain is now not falling on top of the canopy of trees, leaves of jungle trees. Now we talk about 1920s, 30s. If you imagine yourself, if you imagine yourself as a drop of rainwater coming from the top, you know, like that, in 1930s or 1920s or earlier, in the 18th centuries, 17th centuries, you might imagine yourself as a free fall rainwater falling down happily, yeah, a bit of Walt Disney imagination, onto leaves of trees, and then you slide down, roll down through the branches to the trunks of the trees and fall nicely on the soil, and the soil is soft to cushion your fall, and you, as water seeps down all the pores of this soil, and you become the cooling agent for the soil. Water is a cooling agent for the topsoil, for our earth, for the mesosphere. But we coat the earth's surface with a civil structure, especially tarmac, and also cement slab, whatever you call it. And not only the soil underneath that exhausted the arable properties, but they are coated with all these cement and tar, fresh water from the sky is not able to meet them because they are coated, and the fresh water is not able to come to the topsoil of the earth to cool the earth down. And then we complain of global warming. Think about it. We have done the wrong thing. Think about it. How should we build a house? How should we build a road if we really need roads? Do we need roads? Well, think about it. We need food, yeah. We need house, yes. How to build a house? If you want to have a service apartment, I don't mind. There is a way. Constructing service apartment condominiums without what do you call it? Depriving the soil of gas exchange. We construct the way we do now, we are causing lost arable land. We are coating the surface of soil with cement and tarmac. There is a way of doing it, but well, project proponent, they're always right because they get funds from the bank and they want to have more income from that. But I hope, knowing this, I hope house project owners, proponents, developers especially, would have a different sort of thinking in building your houses. You talk about green homes, green apartments, green condominiums, but you are laying tar right on top of the soil. That is not green. You have green using solar, it's not green enough. The green is the soil. You you exhaust the soil, you deprive the soil of its need for gas exchange, for air, for the organisms to live. That is the way ecologists look at it. I'm not that ecologist, but I'm more of a thinker and observer, and I believe you, as a project proponent, understand this very well. That's drainage and irrigation, and you've got land reclamation. We reclaim land to build high-rise building, apartments, condominiums. For a certain reason, most of it, well, I think you know better than I do. It's all about profit, and well, we can reclaim land so that it is put into use. But then when we reclaim shorelines, coastal lines, where would the water be displaced, which is supposed to be volume of water we put in civil structure there? What do we expect to happen next? Level of some level of water deviation. Think about it, all right? And I believe you have got people who did hydraulic study, and I believe they know this very well, and I believe they have given the advice, especially EIA consultant. And there are projects for fisheries, like fisheries harbor. In Malaysia, we also have fisheries, issues. For example, total allowable catch, there's something else. But as far as fishery harbor is concerned, they need EIA, fisheries activities as well related to that. Forestry, especially logging. Forestry is also subjected to EIA. How much forests can we cut? How much in terms of hectares, and the phases of deforestation. Right? There are phases in order for us to enable us to have new trees coming out, to live, to replace those that we have cut for our logs, for our wood resources. Okay, these are all applied under environmental impact assessment. I think the moment you cut forest, what is left? Topsoil. And if this deforestation occur, we cut forests, hill, slopes, what happened? There is no so-called piling to hold those topsoil together. The trees are missing. The soil is loose. Then what happened? Rainfall, heavy rainfall. Then what happened? I think I don't have to elaborate. You have seen enough. All right. Also, the next one is housing project. This is where you got township. And of course, it applies, as I have said earlier, all these things are repeating itself. Industries, build industrial area. Again, it's like building township, but the worst part is that industrial area can consist of a mixed type of industrial processes. We can split between light industry, medium industry, heavy industry, but we cannot split industries into the type of raw materials and production process technology that they have. So most of them would come to that industrial area when the infrastructure is good, and they would be there. Foreign investment would be invited to come to build their industries, to use local workforce for them to have good margins for their products, and there's a lot of balance work here. All right, industries, infrastructure, highway. We are constructing more and more highway for a reason. We are induced to have more cars on the road. The reasons, I think you can think for yourself. Infrastructure, including pipelines, including what do you call it, power transmission, etc. These are all infrastructure, public amenities, everything, and these are all government offices, etc., etc. These are all infrastructure. Ports, mining, ports. We have got ports, and to construct new ports require EIA. To do mining now require EIA. If you have got some gold at the back of your house in your kampong somewhere, and you got to do mining, that needs EIA, not just. But if you do have gold, let me know. Okay, I'll join you, and I'll bring along an EIA consultant with me. While doing the mining, we do EIA. Just joking. Petroleum industry, yeah, I think this is familiar to you, needs EIA. Power generation plant and its transmission require EIA. We are now getting electrical energy from the combustion of not diesel, not light fuel oil, but of late we are using a lot of coal. And I hope that in the very near future we would be able to convert to solar, or perhaps vertical wind turbine, which we should have wind turbine in this country, because the wind the wind is vast, is available, and sometimes it is strong enough to blow rooftops. Okay, so think about it. Quarries, this is the big danger. Quarries is because we need to extract certain metals, or maybe we want to use the stones, aggregates, for construction of roads and highways. And I worry a bit on quarries, because I'm not sure whether we have in the EIA a study on radioactive nucleotides, which is released when you blast rock structure, because within a rock you got metals, and we've got to study what sort of metals, and some of these metals may be low activity radioactive species that we do not know. Well, if it's thorium, then it's already alarming. If it is lithium, beryllium, you got to check it out. There are some species. All right, if you find plutonium and uranium, let me know. We have been working all our life, isn't it? So I think you understand what I'm saying. Railways, we have got railways. We have got to have EIA as well, transportation, resorts, and recreational development. All these require EIA, and not forgetting waste treatment and disposal. There you are. These are all prescribed activities, and when you have them already in operation, they may become prescribed premise, and they are licensed. For example, this one, waste treatment and disposal. You got Trinican in Sarawak, you got Quality Alam here, you got Redicare and all sorts of Medicare, blah blah, all sorts of toxic waste or scheduled waste incineration plants, recycling plants. These are all prescribed premises. They have EIA and they are licensed by the DOE. And last but not least, water supply. From dams until the supply of water through pipes, all these activities require EIA, potable water supply, including. So that's a general idea of what the environmental impact assessment requirement is in the Malaysian law, Malaysian Environmental Quality Act. As I have said in the earlier slides, I think you understood what I said. There is a bit of incomfort or discomfort of having EIA because it is not truly or not an absolute neutral report. I think you know what I mean. I am suggesting if you are running for the next PRU and becomes a minister, I hope you do, that EIA consultant is being paid not by project proponent, but it is being paid by the DOE or by the AG, okay, and we have or what they call accountant general, because there is a provision under this law which is called environmental fund. I'm not covering it here. Environmental fund, we should build it up, and the government could think of ways of how to fund this environmental fund. Definitely, there are ideas from many of you. I believe you have got ideas. So run for the next PRU and win it, and we can start paying environmental impact assessment consultant not by project proponent, but by the government itself. Let the government pay the consultant. Then I believe we would have much more neutral-minded, neutral-sounded, and more professional environmental impact assessment report, and the mitigation would be much clearer. It's not quite like today. This EIA consultant has got to do something better than Shakespeare, the English. They have got to be a good author. So we got to read in between those lines, and it's quite tough. All right, so that's EIA. I hope you have got some substantial understanding of this. Let us move on. Oh, what's this? Yeah, our detergent. Welcome to the club. I am. Some of you know what I am. When I'm doing my lectures, I am your trainer, but back home, I am the laundryman. Okay, I do make my own detergent sometimes from offcuts of ananas, pineapples, from fruits. But it's a bit hectic, so I've stopped that project for a while. Now I'm using some kind of detergent, which is this one. Linear alkyl benzene sulfonate. There is a law, subsidiary regulation under the Environmental Quality Act called Environmental Quality Prohibition on the use of controlled substances in soaps, detergents, synthetic detergents, and other cleaning agents. Order is another order, 1995, which prohibit the use of this branched alkyl benzene sulfonate. Why? Because it causes this, a condition which is called eutrophication. Before that happen, before you have eutrophication, what you can see is that if a soap contains so much, or if a soap is made from branched alkyl benzene sulfonate, that's the structure. I'm not a chemist. My chemist is 40 years ago. I've lost my organic chemistry. Inorganic chemistry is all in the, well, I have not used them much. I'm looking into practice now. Now, these chemicals are actually organic, all right, but some of them are not so biodegradable, especially branched alkyl benzene sulfonate. They are stable compounds. And what happened is when we have got BAS, we call it in short BAS in our detergents, apparently it produces a lot of foam. And the foam does not go off. Normally, the soap detergents you have got today, the foam, is formed initially, and then it just disappear. Okay, it shrink, it pops, and disappear. No more foam. But BAS, you can see that the foam is so stable that even if you wash beside a drain, I'm not sure whether they're doing it now. From your washing machine or a semi-auto washing machine or even an auto washing machine, your washing machine will be soaked with foam, buih, banyak sangat buih. And when you release the water from the machine, you can see the water fill up with flying foams. And this is an indication that your detergent is using branched alkyl benzene sulfonate. It is a stable compound. It is not so biodegradable, okay? And it is not, when I say it's not biodegradable, the idea is when our wash water is released from the machine, it goes to the drain. In the drain water, we are expecting microorganisms to be waiting there for the buffet of detergent waste from our washing machines. As it goes down to the sewer, more microbes waiting for the a la carte from the washing machine. Unfortunately, the enzymes from this bacteria is not able to break down this structure. This is the polar sulfonate of this structure, but some of this structure, they are so stable that it is not easily broken down by microbes. Please refer this to your organic chemist. I'm not a chemist, but I studied from them. So what we have now, the law stipulate that we cannot use this anymore, and detergent manufacturer now, since I think even before this year, they have already looked into the use of what is called linear alkyl benzene sulfonate. The structure is slightly, all right, different. This is more into branches. This is not so, this is a linear structure here. This is the polar sulfonate, and this is the alkyl structure, which is situated to that benzene. And they are degradable, okay? And these are more degradable, in fact, readily degradable. The difference is this, the soap that is made with branched alkyl benzene sulfonate is very soapy, a lot of foam, but this particular soap has less foam or even no foam. But most of us are actually right now using this sort of linear alkyl benzene sulfonate. But unfortunately, when I go around to hypermarket to buy my monthly, I buy a box of detergents, I try to look at the content. Most of them doesn't mention whether that detergent is linear, containing linear alkyl benzene sulfonate or branch. It's not stated. The best that they describe is this detergent is less soap. It's got less, what do you call it? Bui. What do you call bui in English? Lupa dah. What sooth? What, can't remember. Please comment. I think you know what I mean. That what they call lathe. Okay, the lathe is less. So this is what we have today, especially when you do use for unloading washing machine. Not even any appearance of this soapy stuff. Actually, the soap, the function of this detergent, they don't clean the dirt. Look, I'm a laundryman. Let me tell you. Ask the laundryman. Yeah, I do hand wash at home. Okay, I think some of you know what I'm doing. I do hand wash. I don't need that foam. No, I don't need it. The detergent is just to, this is your fabric. This is your like soil or whatever dirt which is on top of the fabric. They are forming some bond with the fabric, and that is why you find them like a stain and difficult to remove. All right, can you see this? Okay, all right. But with that of dirt firmly now stuck to the fabric, we immerse in water with detergent. Detergent will act as a surfactant. What is a surfactant? It will like lubricate or loosen up pore size from the dirt and the fabric. It will be in between so that it just stick off those dirt or literally remove, loosen up those dirt from the fabric, and that's it. The cleaning agent is still the best solvent in the universe, which is water. Okay, so water is the cleaning agent. The soap or detergent is just a surfactant. It doesn't bring cleanliness to your fabric. That's what the laundryman has got to say. Okay, today. Right, that is, I've covered, quite some time. I'm sorry I take too much time, but this is what I need to explain to you. I hope you really understand what the law is about, all right? And I hope your perspective of the law and the enforcement agency like DOE is broader now. I hope you can appreciate their function and their, responsibility, and we have our responsibility with the law as well. So I hope with all this knowledge, which we are still in the beginning of this YouTube so-called effort of mine, and I hope you are able to share it with a few other people who may need to know about it, especially lecturers, especially students who want to know how this is applied in the law. They might not have access to slides like this. Now I'm opening up. All right, so wish me luck. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you do subscribe. And because I might not be able to transfer those YouTube files to the WhatsApp group all the time. I need to study. I am still studying. I've got a few journals to read every month, and I purchase online. All right, and I have to spend in US dollars. So I've got to do things like this so that it can balance up my debit and credit. I think you know what I mean. And I still need to survive. And as you know, we have to bring dinner on the dinner table. Okay, we have got to bring food on the dinner table, on our dinner table, and we have got to sustain life. It's just I am doing it, and well, not to say new version, in a manner which is new to me, which is making film. I've never done this before. It's quite scary making your own video. I'm not sure whether what I have said is applicable to everybody, but I hope you understand my intention here. Please don't be offended. But with that, this is the end of part 4. Part 5 is coming, hopefully. God's willing, inshallah. Wish me good health. We'll see you in the next part. So thank you for your attention. Please subscribe, like, share, whatever you want to do. Please share with people who you know need it. Thank you for your time, and I wish you assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Have a nice day. Have a nice environmental endeavor. Thank you very much. Bye.